Keaton, go ahead.
In the 1980s, a historic wrong occurred. Prisons everywhere had been locking their prisoners in the cells called solitary confinement cells. They would mostly be sent to places called supermax prisons, which are gigantic prisons that are built only for solitary confinement. But what is solitary confinement? Well, solitary confinement is locking a person up in a room and just leaving them there. They are typically allowed out maybe an hour, so they'll spend 23 to 24 hours in this cell. There are several reasons that people believe that this is a thing we should continue, such as it could keep the person safe, and it could keep the other prisoners safe. It could aid in the reformation of the prisoner's character, and it could be served as a punishment. The first safety matter is they don't really think about the prisoner whenever they think about safety, because I'm sure we all have heard of Bloody Mary. Well, Bloody Mary is the result of a delusion called the Troxler effect, which the Troxler effect is when you're staring, like how Bloody Mary is done, you stand and you stare in a mirror, your brain essentially becomes bored of what it sees, so it starts creating images in our head, and we see them. This can cause both visual and auditory hallucinations. Now, while we can leave the room, they can't. They can't just simply get up and leave. So they are stuck in this room with that delusion. But some studies have shown, especially by the APA, as they quoted, deprived of human interaction, many segregated prisoners reported to suffer from mental health problems, including anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, paranoia, aggression, and depression. Other ones that they did not include in this was schizophrenia, which is they are unable to tell what is real and what is not. And a few people have been known to come out more violent than they were when they came in. The second one, which was reformation, people need human interaction, and whether you want to believe it or not, we need human interaction. But in these kind of cells, which are 6 by 9 feet, which is very small, that's about the size of a 6 by 9 foot cell. They should only be used for short term, maybe 4 hours at the most, but they are not used like that. They are kept in there, like I said before, for 23 to 24 hours. Dr. Sharon Shelve at the criminology sector of Oxford University stated, solitary confinement was first widely used and systematically used on both sides of the Atlantic in the separate and silent penitentiary of the 19th century, with the aim of reforming convicts. It was believed that when left alone with their conscience in the Bible, they would begin an inner reflection and see the error of their ways and become reformed into law-abiding citizens. It is really difficult to do that when you are not receiving help. And locking a person in a tiny room is not going to do that. I'm sorry, it's really difficult. The third one, which was punishment, they state that if a person has the option of being locked in a tiny room where they know it's not going to be fun, then they are not going to be less to act out in the prison. And while that may be true, it doesn't help much, because in prisons you can be locked up in solitary confinement for the smallest things. By simply, like, not eating. People have been known to be locked in solitary confinement. Torture is what this is normally defined by, which torture is an act through which severe pain and suffering is intentionally inflicted on a person for punishment, intimidation, info, and other reasons, as stated by the UN Convention Against Torture, which was a massive treaty in between countries. But this seems like a major, we wouldn't be able to do much about it. And even though anything you say would be going up against gigantic corporations, that own these prisons doing things like voting for people who speak out actively against this, or going to protest, or even signing petitions online, like at change.org. Even something as small as those can help the possibly millions of people that are locked up every year. But in short, the arguments for why we should not lock these people up are it is not very safe for the prisoner. It could be very bad for both their health and detrimental to their rehabilitation, and that it goes against the basic human rights. Though these people, they do have very good reasons why it should be a thing that we do, all these arguments that they have seem to only go for the citizens that are outside of the prison. Because no matter what, these people, no matter what they did, are still humans. And it should not matter what they did, because, I mean, they're human. Just because they're in prison, it doesn't mean they're an animal or anything. They shouldn't be locked up because of that.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you, Kaylee. Okay, if you want to, I can take care of it too, either way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open it up to questions for Taylor. If you have any in general you'd like to ask, you can go ahead and at this time. And Taylor, if you don't mind calling on them, I would appreciate that.
Noelle?
When did solitary confinement first become a thing?
It originally started when people started coming over, and especially like Protestants, they were very happy to do it, as when somebody spoke out against what they believed. They would originally be locked in boxes that were left in the forest. And they still actually do this in some Middle Eastern countries, and they're just forgotten out there in the desert. Micah?
Okay, so you're saying that you don't think there should be solitary confinement?
No,
Okay.
I do not. I believe that it's a horrible thing to do to a
Okay,
person.
so if there's like a prisoner, then that's also in there along with the other ones, and he's crazy, but he's hurting the other prisoners, what would you do with him then if you can't put him in?
There are several other ways you could do this. There are places in prisons that are specially meant for mental patients. And if we, instead of locking this person up, who could have the possibility of becoming worse when left alone in their cell, as well as harming both themselves and, once again, coming out worse, we could put them in the mental ward where they can receive the help from certified doctors instead of prison guards who don't know what they're doing.
Do they put a time limit or a number of times that you can be in confinement?
No, there is no time limit. You can be locked in there for both as long as they want and as many times as they want. There have been people who have been locked in there upwards of 10 years.
Anyone else? No? Alrighty, let's give Taylor a round of applause. Thank you so much, Taylor. And if I could